Hi everyone, welcome back to Sri Sampath Vinayaka Learn Easy channel. Today we are going to discuss the chapter locus of intermediate math. In this locus, we are going to discuss the paths or the routes enrouted by a specific point or some points. Okay, Nama? That's why locus means it's a path traced by a point which moves according to a given condition. Okay, in the instructions itself, they are going to give us some conditions. According to that condition, some points or one point are going to follow a path. That particular path is known as locus. Okay, Nama? Now, we know that we will study a set of points which satisfies the certain geometric conditions and also can be represented by in the form of algebraic equation. So, the geometric equations are converted into algebraic equations by the help of coordinate geometry or analytical geometry, we are going to name it. Okay, that means the coordinate geometry plays a key role in the chapter locus. Okay, before going to discuss this chapter locus, we are going to know some of the formulas related to coordinate geometry. Okay, Nama? So those after discussing those formulas, prerequisites we are going to name them. Okay, after discussing them, we are going to continue our chapter locus. Okay, so see, we know that the coordinate geometry unifies the ideas of algebra and geometry. So because of that, firstly we are going to discuss the basic requirements for the chapter locus. Okay, that means some formulas related to coordinate geometry, if we are going to discuss first, then it is helpful us to discuss the chapter locus. So we will discuss them. Geometry is two types. First one is Euclidean geometry and the second one is analytical geometry or coordinate geometry. Okay. See, geometry is of two types. Okay, now Euclidean geometry. And it is coordinate geometry. Another name for the coordinate geometry is analytical geometry. Okay, so geometry is two types. One is Euclidean geometry, another one is coordinate geometry. Up to our 9th class, we learn this Euclidean geometry. Okay, and in this Euclidean geometry, we are going to learn geometry of geometry. That means only about the figures and everything we are going to discuss here. Here in this coordinate geometry, this is the geometry of algebra. Why? Because this coordinate geometry is mainly discussing along with the algebraic concepts. Okay, now that's why the coordinate geometry is also called as analytical geometry. So now we are going to discuss about these coordinate geometry concepts. Okay, before going to discuss that, this coordinate geometry is defined on a plane. So that particular plane is known as Cartesian plane coordinate geometry. Coordinate geometry was developed by René Descartes. That's why René Descartes is known as father of analytical geometry or father of coordinate geometry. Most of his work related to coordinate geometry. Okay, that's why he is known as father of coordinate geometry or father of analytical geometry. Okay, now on the honor of Mr. Descartes, the Cartesian plane is also known as Descartes plane. Cartesian plane or Descartes plane. See, so coordinate geometry deals with Algebra Noma. Firstly, we are going to discuss what is the basic concept of coordinate geometry. The basic unit of coordinate geometry is a point. In Euclidean geometry, point is a undefined concept. Okay. Generally, we are going to define point as a geometrical concept which has no length, no width, no height. Okay. In coordinate geometry, point is a geographical location which is having latitudes and altitudinal values. Okay. That means it is having x comma y values regarding 2D plane. If it is of a 3D plane, it is having x, y, z values. So, points are of two representations. One is xy, another one is xyz. It is represented in two-dimensional plane and it is represented in three-dimensional plane. Okay. So, here x comma y are known as x coordinate, y coordinate or abscissa ordinate. Here x, y, z are x coordinate, y coordinate and z coordinate. In this ordered pair, the first value always represents the value of x axis, okay now, and y is the value of y. This is known as abscissa and this is known as ordinate. Okay, or we are going to name this x as x coordinate and y as y coordinate. Okay, see, this is the basic concept for coordinate geometry point. After knowing the points, we are going to plot them in a specific place. That particular place is known as a plane. Going to call as Cartesian plane or coordinate plane. Here in this coordinate plane, we are going to represent x-axis and y-axis. Okay, the axis which is horizontal to the earth is known as x-axis and the axis which is vertical and perpendicular to the x-axis is known as y-axis. Okay, see, that is, this horizontal axis is known as x-axis and the axis which is vertical and perpendicular to the x-axis is known as y-axis. Okay, this is known as Cartesian plane or Descartes plane. And the intersecting point of both x-axis and y-axis is known as origin and it's represented with 0, 0. Okay, the values on the right side of the origin on x-axis is represented as positive values. 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. Okay, and the values on the left side of the origin on x-axis is considered as negative. Okay. Similarly, the values above the origin on y-axis is taken as positive and below the origin is taken as negative. Okay, so this coordinate plane or Cartesian plane divides the plane into 4 parts. Here each part is known as quadrant and represented with Q. So it is Q quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3 and quadrant 4. In these 4 quadrants, this quadrant 1 is full of positive values. Why? Because see, all x and y values here are positive. That means the points which we are going to plot in this quadrant 1 are positive and positive. And coming to this second quadrant, here x value, always we are going to represent the x values at first. That is, here x values are negative and y values are positive. So all the values which are negative and positive belongs to this quadrant 2. Coming to this quadrant 3, here x values are negative. So x values are taken first and y values are also here negative. That means the points both negative, having both values, that means x coordinate and y coordinate are negative, are in the quadrant 3. Coming to this quadrant 4, here x values are positive and y values are negative. So plus minus, if the point is plus and minus, then it belongs to quadrant 4. Okay, this is the division of the coordinate plane ma. See once, if suppose if I am going to give you 2 comma 3, okay, this point belongs to what ma? So this belongs to the quadrant 1. Why? Because all the given two x and y coordinates are positive, so that belongs to quadrant 1. For example, if I am going to give you minus 4 comma minus 3, see here x coordinate and y coordinate both are negative. Both are negative belongs to quadrant 3. See, if I am going to write minus 2 comma 7, that means negative and positive. So negative and positive belongs to quadrant 2. Like that we are going to justify. Okay, now conclude whether the given point belongs to quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3 or quadrant 4. So this is one concept. Listen, if I am going to give you 2 comma 0. So see ma, 2 is positive, I know. 0 is a neutral value. So positive and neutral value belongs to which one? This is our question. It's very simple ma. Okay, we know that every point on x-axis are in the form some value comma 0. So see ma, here it is some value 2 comma 0. So this 2 comma 0 belongs to x-axis. In specific way, this 2 comma 0 belongs to positive x-axis, that is this one now. Okay, if I am going to give you minus 3 comma 0, okay, this is also some value comma 0, so that belongs to x-axis. Okay, in specifically if I want to express this minus 3 comma 0 belongs to negative x-axis. Okay, in the similar way, every point on y-axis are in the form 0 comma some value ma. For example, if I want to represent this point, so this is 0 comma 4. So if I am going to ask you to express this 0 comma 5 belongs to which quadrant? So definitely we are going to say that this 0 comma 5 does not belongs to any one of the quadrants, but this 0 comma 5 belongs to y-axis. In general, y-axis. In specifically, this 0 comma 5 belongs to positive y-axis. Similarly, if anyone gives you that 0 comma y belongs to which quadrant? So we are going to say that 0 comma y does not belongs to any quadrant, but this 0 comma y belongs to y-axis. Okay, depends on the value of y, whether if it is positive or negative. Okay, if it is positive, in specifically it belongs to positive y-axis. If y is negative, that means 0 comma minus 5 like that, then that point belongs to negative y-axis. Okay nama, see ma, this is a coordinate plane. If I am going to point this is what ma, 2 comma 0. Why? Because it is a point on x-axis. We know that the point is always in the form of some value comma 0. That's why 2 comma 0 is the point. If I want to write this 6, this is 6 comma 0. If I want to point this 6, if I want to point this one ma, this is minus 3 comma 0. Okay, if I want to point this one minus 7 comma 0. So see here on this x-axis, that x-axis is represents every point some value comma 0. That means here observe every y value. Here every y value is 0. That's why the x-axis is named as y is equal to 0. Why we named x-axis as y is equal to 0 ma? We know here on x-axis every point is having its y coordinate as 0. So that because of that, this x-axis is known as y is equal to 0. Understand ma? Similarly, if you are going to observe any point on y-axis, that is it is 0 comma 6, it is 0 comma 4, okay, it is 0 comma 2, it is 0 comma minus 2, okay, it is 0 comma minus 4, it is 0 comma minus 6. Here see ma, here observe all the points on y-axis are 0 comma something. That means all the x coordinates are 0 on y-axis. That's why y-axis is known as x is equal to 0. So x-axis name is y is equal to 0. Okay, now simply we are going to call that as equation of x-axis. Equation of x-axis is equal to y is equal to 0. Remember this one, ma. It's a very important bit. Okay, y-axis equation is x is equal to 0. Okay, listen. Now, if I want to plot 4 comma 3, see 4 comma 3 I want to plot. Okay, so is 4 represents the value on x-axis. That means I have to start from 4 to reach 3 ma. So straightly I have to go. Okay, this is the required position. So this is 4 comma 3 ma. See, if I want to represent 7 comma 6, so I have to go straight away from the 7 to meet 6. Okay, so this is what 7 comma 6. Okay, if I listen ma, what is this point ma now? This is minus 5 comma 0. I have to trace the values. See, this is what minus 5 comma 4 ma. Okay, these are the representations. What is this represents ma? 6 comma, why? Because every time I have to write the x value first. So 6 comma minus 4. See here if I want to write this is on x-axis value is minus 4 and y-axis value is minus 3. Like this I am going to plot the points. Okay, then after I have to find the distance between 2 points. See here 4 comma 3 is one point and 7 comma 6 is another point. What is the distance between these two? I have to find. For that we are going to discuss the formulas ma. Okay, and how to find the distance between 2 points. Okay, if those are located in any coordinate and if they are going to locate on the same line. Okay, how we are going to find? I am going to discuss you now. Okay, see ma, if I want to find the distance between these 2 points, okay, in general we are going to say the distance between these 2 points is 3. Why? Because it is very observable. Okay now, so that's why we are going to say the distance between these 2 points is 3. Okay, if he is going to give you 2 other points, then how can you find the distance between those two? We have to check. Okay, see ma, here these 2 points 20 comma 50 are lies on the same line. How I am going to decide that? Means by observing these 2 points, here the y values are same ma. Okay, see here the y coordinate values are same. If the y coordinate values are same, then those 2 points are lies on the same. Okay, now if x coordinate values are also same, okay, now then also those 2 points lies on the same line. If y coordinates are same, then it is parallel to x axis ma. Here see, here the y values are same, so it is parallel to x axis. Unfortunately, that is those 2 points lies on the x axis only. For example, see ma, 3 comma 1, okay, 5 comma 1. See here by observing these 2 points, here also the y values are same. That means y coordinates are same. That means these 2 points are lies on the line which is parallel to x axis. Okay, how I am saying means here y values are same. Y values are same in the sense that is parallel to x axis. Why? Because we discussed that x axis equation is y is equal to 0. Okay, now why we named x axis as y is equal to 0 means here all y values are zeros. That's why it is represented as y is equal to 0. Here see ma, y values are 1. So these 2 points lies on y is equal to 1 line ma. These 2 points are lies on y is equal to 1 line. Okay, this y is equal to 1 is parallel to x axis. Okay, we know that all the lines parallel to x axis are in the form of y is equal to k. Okay, now y is equal to k parallel to x axis ma. Similarly, x is equal to k, lines are parallel to y axis. Okay, So remember, for example, x is equal to 3 parallel to y axis, y is equal to 5 or y is equal to minus 7, okay, now parallel to x axis, like that ma. Here the y values are same, that's why these 2 points are lies on the line parallel to x axis. Okay, so if y values are same, in the sense those 2 points are lies on same line, no ma. So distance, let us suppose it is a and it is b. So distance between AB is equal to modulus of 3 minus 5. So x values, if y values are same, then I have to find the modulus difference of x values ma. Okay, similarly 2 more points I am going to take. C ma, 7 comma 5, okay, and D 7 comma 11. Here C ma, here by observing these 2 points, here the x values are same. Here the x values are same in the sense these 2 points lies on the line which is parallel to y axis. X values are same, no more. X values are same, that means x is equal to 7. These 2 points are lies on x is equal to 7. Okay, the line x is equal to 7. X is equal to 7 in the sense, let us consider this is 7. On this line, these 2 points are lies ma. Now if I want to find the distance between these 2 points, the distance is C ma. The distance CD is equal to the modulus difference of y values. Okay, why I am finding modulus difference means the distance never be negative. Okay, here see, it is minus 2. We know the distance never be negative, no? That's why it is 2 units. Okay, similarly, it is minus 6 ma, that is equal to 6 units. Okay, I hope you understand. But okay, the points may be at any place. So then how to find the distance between such type of points, now we are going to discuss. See ma, here I am going to take one point A as x1, y1, okay, and another point B as x2, y2, okay. Then how I am going to find the distance between these 2 points? I am going to give you the formula. Remember that formula ma. Now the distance between these 2 points is, okay, now universally explained as x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Okay, this is the formula, or we may write this as x1 minus x2 whole square plus y1 minus y2 whole square. Okay, firstly we have to remember this formula. Distance between this A and B is this one. Okay, and if I want to find the distance between this origin and another point, let us take, okay, Px comma y. Okay, that means the distance between origin and any point x comma y. Okay, substitute these values here. My origin means we know 0, 0. Okay, so if I am going to find the distance between this O and P by using this formula, I am going to get OP is equal to root over x square plus y square. Remember, okay, the distance between origin and a point x comma y is root over x square plus y square. Okay, these are the 2 formulas. Okay, next I am going to explain you how to find the midpoint of A and B. Let us consider M is the midpoint of A and B. So the formula for midpoint is, okay, x1 plus x2 by 2 comma y1 plus y2 by 2 So this is the formula for midpoint. Okay, so see, 3 formulas we discussed here. The distance between the 2 points is root over x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square, or x1 minus x2 whole square plus y1 minus y2 whole square under root. Okay, this is for any 2 points. Okay, here we discussed one more formula. This is for the distance between origin and any point x comma y, that is root over x square plus y square, and the midpoint of A and B is x1 plus x2 by 2 comma y1 plus y2 by 2 See ma. Now we are going to discuss section formula. Okay, section formula means, section means dividing something into some parts ma. Okay na. So let us take A comma B as x1 comma y1 and x2 comma y2. P divides AB in m is to n ratio internally. For that, the formula is, for let us suppose P as x comma y. Okay, so Bixen formula, that means this P divides AB in m is to n internally ma. Okay, internally in the sense the P is in between the A and B. Okay, and simply I am going to write internally. Okay, let us see. It is A, it is B. Now this P lies somewhere else. Okay, na? P is not in between that A and B. P lies, okay, externally. So this is M and this is N. Okay, up to this. So here also P divides AB in m is to n ma. Here P divides AB externally. So for that external point P x comma y, the formula is mx2 minus nx1 by m minus n ma. Okay, in the internal formula, if I am going to replace positive sign with negative one, I am going to obtain the external formula. Okay, by m minus n. Okay, this is the formula for P. Okay, now which divides AB in m is to n from externally. Okay, these 2 points are very important ma. These 2 formulas. In section formula, we have to take the points in the given order only. Why? Because if we are going to take the points in our own order, the ratio may change. He may ask you that find the point which divides 2, 3 and 5, 7 in 3:2 ratio. Okay, that means he is asking us to find a point which divides these two in the ratio 3:2. So in this case, we have to take the first point as x1 y1 and second point as x2 y2 only. Okay, now there is no chance to write this as x2 y2 and this as x1 y1 ma. Why? Because if I am going to change the order, okay, then ratio is also changes. For example, see, it is A, it is B, then it is m is to n ma. If I am going to write B here and A there, then the ratio becomes n is to m. That's why we have to write the given points in the given order only for the section formula. For the remaining formulas, that's our Visma. We may take any point as x1 y1 and any point as x2 y2. But for the section formula, it's a very important note ma. We have to consider the given points in the given order only. Understand ma? So make this one as the most important note. Why? Because some students are going to consider the first point as x2 y2 and second point as x1 y1. In that particular case, our answer is definitely going to be wrong. Okay, so whenever we are going to do the problems with section formula, we have to consider the given points in the given order only. This is another note. If in the question is does not mention internally or externally, we are going to consider it as internal only. Okay, now if we want to divide the given line in external way, definitely is going to mention externally in the question. Let A comma B is a line. Okay, I have to find the points which divides AB into 3 equal parts. Okay, those points are known as points of trisection. Let us suppose P comma Q. P comma Q are the 2 points which divides AB into 3 equal parts. Okay, let us take this is one part, this is another part, this is another part. So this entire AB is divided into 3 equal parts. Okay, so this P and Q are known as points of trisections. To divide the given line, okay, into 3 equal parts, I have to find 2 points P and Q such that P divides CMA. Here it is 1 part, here it is 2 point. That means P divides AB in 1:2 ratio. And Q divides AB here up to this 2 and this is 1 more. So Q divides AB in 2:1 ratio. That means the 2 points which divides the given line segment AB into 3 equal parts are going to divide that line segment into 1:2 ratio and 2:1 ratio. Okay, for doing trisection I have to find 2 points. Okay now, for doing 4 equal parts, okay now, 4 equal parts, if I am going to divide the given line segment at 3 points, so the line segment is divided into 4 equal parts. Okay na? Listen now. For 4 equal parts, I have to find 3 points. For 3 equal parts, I have to find 2 points. For 5 equal parts, I have to divide that AB at 4 points. Okay na? P, Q, R, S. That means the number of equal parts. Here we have to observe. If I want 5 equal parts, I have to cut that line at 4 places. Okay now, if I want to divide a line segment into 6 equal parts, means I have to cut the line AB at 5 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I am going to cut the line segment AB at 5 places, that is divided into, okay now, 6 equal parts. See ma, for points of trisection, we divided that line segment AB at 2 places. That is in 1:2 ratio and 2:1 ratio. See ma, it is A, it is B. So P divides in 1:2 and Q divides in 2:1. Why? Because it is 1, it is 1, it is 1. Up to this schema, it is 1, it is 2. So it is 1:2. Okay, it is 2 and it is 1. So that's why it is 2:1. Okay, for 3 equal parts. For 4 equal parts, I have to divide the line segment AB. Okay now, I want to divide this line segment AB into 4 equal parts. Then I have to cut this AB at 3 points. 1, 2, 3. If I am going to cut this AB at 3 points, then this is divided into 4 equal parts. So see ma, all those are equal parts now, considered as 1 unit ma. Okay, so P divides, tell me this P divides AB into, up to this it is 1 ma. These are 3. So this is 1:3. Now tell me this Q is, up to this 2 ma, it is 2. So Q is 2:2. Okay, R is going to divide 3:1 ma. R is going to divide 3:1. Okay, see, so like that. So P divides AB in 1:3 ratio, Q divides 2:2, R divides AB in 3:1. Okay, observe one thing ma. For doing 3 equal parts, the sum of the ratio parts is 3. For doing 4 equal parts, the sum of the ratio parts is 4. See ma. So if I want to divide a line segment into 2 equal parts, so see, let us consider AB. At how many cuts I want ma? 1 cut. Okay, the ratio is 1:1. Why? Because, so see, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Sum of ratio parts must be 2. Why? Because I have to divide here the line segment into 2 equal parts. If I want to divide a line segment into 3 equal parts, so see, A, B, I have to cut at 2 points ma. So the number of cuts are 2. So that is, take this one as P, this one as P and Q. So this P is 1:2, Q as 2:1. See, here 1 plus 2 and 2 plus 1. Okay now, both Q's 3. So sum of the ratio parts is 3. Okay. See, if I want to divide a line segment into 4 equal parts, I have to cut AB at 3 positions. 1, 2, 3. P, Q, R. 3 cuts needed. So, P divides AB in 1:3. Why 1:3 means? I already told you that the sum of ratio parts must be 4. Okay, so I have to start the ratio with 1. 1 plus what gives 4 ma? 1 plus 3 gives us 4. Again, Q. Increase 1 to this one. 2. Decrease 1 ma. 2. R. Increase 1 to this. 3. Okay, decrease 1. 1. So, these are the 3 points. 2 plus 2. 3 plus 1. So, sum of ratio parts is equal to 4. Similarly, for 5. Okay, now A, B. 4 cuts needed. 1, 2, 3, 4. P, Q, R, S. 4 cuts needed. Those 4 ratios are P. 1:4. Why? Because the sum of the ratio parts must be 5 ma. P, Q. 2:3. R. 3:1. S. 4:3:2 ma. 4:1. So 1 plus 4, 2 plus 3, 3 plus 2, 4 plus 1. All the ratio parts gives us 5. Okay, like that. For 6. For doing 6 equal parts, I need 5 cuts. A, B, P, Q, R, S, T. So 5 cuts needed. Okay na? So P is in ratio 1:5. Q 2:4. R 3:3. S 4:2. T 5:1. Similarly, 1 plus 5, 2 plus 4, 3 plus 3, 4 plus 2, 5 plus 1. Okay, now all those are equal to 6 parts. Okay, like that. If we are going to increase the number of equal parts, then cuts are also going to be increased. These are the ratios. Okay, SEMA centroid. Okay, what is centroid? First we are going to discuss, then we are going to find the formula for centroid. Centroid means the concurrent point of the medians of a triangle. Okay, concurrent point means if 3 or more than 3 lines passes through a same point. Okay, now then those lines are known as concurrent lines and that point is known as concurrent point. For example, see the line L, the line M and the line N passes through the same point. Okay, let us take P. So these 3 lines are known as concurrent lines and this point is known as concurrent point. So here see, let us consider A as x1, y1, B as x2, y2 and C as x3, y3. Median means line which is passing through the vertex and midpoint of its opposite side is known as median. So such medians are going to meet at one point. This point is known as center of gravity or centroid. Center of gravity or centroid. That means simply we are going to define that centroid as the concurrent point of medians. Concurrent point of medians. Okay, it is represented with G. Concurrent point of medians is represented with G. We know that this G divides the median in 2:1 ratio from vertex to side. That means AG is to GD is equal to 2:1. from side to vertex as 1:2 ma. That is DG is to GA as 1:2 ratio. Okay, now see what is the formula for centroid. Okay, the formula for centroid is x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3 comma y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3. Okay, this is the formula for centroid one. Okay, remember this, how we derived everything. I'm going to explain you in a different video ma. Okay, all the different centers, that means centroid, circumcenter, incenter, excenter, how we are going to find them, I'm going to explain you in a different video. Okay, firstly we have to remember this. Why? Because we need just the formula. Okay, so the centroid means the concurrent point of medians. The centroid formula is x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3 comma y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3. And one more thing you have to remember, that centroid G divides any median in 2:1 ratio from vertex to side and 1:2 ratio from side to vertex. I am going to explain you area of a triangle. So if I want to find the area of the triangle when the vertex, that means angular vertices are given or the vertices are given, then area of the triangle means half modulus sigma. What you are going to do is just write x1 into y2 minus y3, okay na, plus x2 into y3 minus y1 plus x3 into y1 minus y2. This is the formula for finding area of the triangle. Okay now, how to obtain this formula I am going to explain you now. This area of the triangle is defined like this ma. So first I have to write the point x1 y1 in vertical way, x2 y2 x3 y3. I started with x1 y1 now, again I have to repeat that. Okay, now find the depth of each 2x2 matrix. Okay, now like this you have to arrange 3 2x2 matrix here. Okay, the depth is AD minus BC. So x1 y2 and x2 y1. Similarly x2 y3 and x3 y2. x3 y1 minus x1 y3 I wrote. I am going to group x1 y2 and one more x1 value is here sigma minus x1 y3. Similarly I am going to write all the x2 terms at one place. This is x2 y3 positive value and the negative value is minus x2 y1. See, again I am going to write the rest of values x3 y1 minus sigma, here x3 y2. Okay, if I am going to take out x1 common from these two terms, then I am going to get x1 into y2 minus y3. If I am going to take out x2 as common, then y3 minus y1 is going to be left here. If I am going to take x3 common from these two terms, then x3 into y1 minus y2. So this is the way we are going to derive the formula for the area of the triangle. Okay, remember this one. Now see ma, we are going to derive the formula for area of a quadrilateral. Okay now, we discussed the area of the triangle in the previous concept. Similarly, I am going to arrange all the vertices in a order: x1 y1, x2 y2, x3 y3, x4 y4. And I started with x1 y1 now. At last I am going to end it with the same x1 y1. Similarly, as we followed to derive the area of the triangle, here also we are going to follow the same one. Okay, so here I am going to have 4 different 2x2 matrices. Okay now, so find the depth value of each and every 2x2 matrix. Now tell me x1 y2 minus x2 y1. This is one det value of this matrix, and here plus x2 y3 minus x3 y2 ma. Similarly x3 y4 minus x4 y3 3, and the fourth one is x4 y1 minus x1 y4. These are the 4 det values. Now arrange all x1 terms at one place, x1 y2, and at last I am having x1 y4. Okay, similarly write x2 terms, x2 y3 minus sigma x2 y1. So these two are x2 values. Okay na? Similarly I have to write x3. Okay, sigma x3 y4. This is x3 y4, and one more x3 value is here minus x3 y2. Similarly x4 values, x4 sigma x4 y1 minus x4 y3. So I have to close the det. Why I am using det means area is also never be negative. That's why I am using det value of modulus. Take out x1 common x1 into y2 minus y4 plus x2 into y3 minus y1. Okay now, next x3 into y4 minus y2 plus x4 into y1 minus y3. This is the area of a formula for the area of the quadrilateral. See here we discussed if A x1 y1, B x1 y2, okay na, then the distance between AB is equal to, here see x1 x1 are equal, so difference of y1 and y2 is the distance between that AB. Here see in these 2 points, here the y values are same, so the difference between these x values is the distance between that A and B. If x1 y1 and x2 y2, these two are of different points, then the distance between that A and B is root over x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. And one more thing, if A x comma y and origin is 0 comma 0, then distance AO is equal to root over x square plus y square. Okay na? Now the midpoint of A and B is x1 plus x2 by 2 comma y1 plus y2 by 2. Section formula we discussed. In the section formula we are going to write the points in the given order only. The first one as x1 y1 and second one as x2 y2. So let P divides AB in m is to n, and for internally mx2 plus nx1 by m plus n comma my2 plus ny1 by m plus n. For externally mx2 minus nx1 by m minus n comma my2 minus ny1 by m minus n. Next, if A, B, C are x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3, then the centroid formula is x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3 comma y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3. If A, B, C are the 3 given points, then area of the triangle we discussed the half modulus x1 into y2 minus y3 plus x2 into y3 minus y1 plus x3 into y1 minus y2. So here one hint I am going to give you that just remember the first term, that is x1 into y2 minus y3. Okay, after that the remaining terms are derived as, okay, after 1 what 2, after 2 3, after 3 again 1. Why? Because you are having 3 points no more. It's a cycle. After 1 2, 2 after 3, 3 after again 1. So see 1 2 3. Next change these numbers as 2 3 1. So see 2 3 1. Next change these numbers as 3 1 2. Okay, 3 after 1, 1 after 2, like that. This is the aim for remembering the formula. Okay, similarly if A, B, C, D are the 4 vertices of a quadrilateral, then area of the quadrilateral is equal to This is the formula we derived. Okay, this is also remembered in the same manner. Just remember the first term, x1 into y2 minus y4. After 1 what ma? 2. After 2, 3. After 4, again 1. Like that, we are going to write all the 4 times in the formula. Okay, now in center. In center means the concurrent point of angular bisectors of a triangle. Okay, for example, angle A's angular bisector is this. Angle B's angular bisector is this. Angle C's angular bisector is this. Then all these 3 angular bisectors are going to meet at one point, that is I. So that I is known as incenter ma. Okay na. The formula for incenter is, okay, ax1 plus bx2 plus cx3 by a plus b plus c, and ay1 plus by2 plus cy3 by a plus b plus c. Here ABC are the sides, lengths of the sides. So the side opposite to capital A vertex is small a, and the side opposite to capital B vertex is small b. Similarly, the side opposite to capital C vertex is small c. So these are the concepts we have to learn to solve the problems and to discuss the concepts of locus. These are very much helpful. Okay, so we will discuss the locus and its equation in the next part of the video.